Alright. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. It is the Global StarCraft League Grand Finals, and he finds himself here again. There was a drought for a few years where people were going, oh, man, when is herO going to get back in that champion seat? Well, it's not just about when. These days, it's how many big trophies will herO hold up in a year, because he's been on fire. 2026 has been a great year for him, and he's in yet another finals in the top right. To be fair, he barely got here. Barely made it this far. But he's going to go for a gas first, no scout, greedy build here. Wow. SK's... It is... Wait, sorry. T1, not SK. I'm still used to calling them SKT1. But their sponsor for many years in StarCraft 1 is no longer there. Liquid's Cure in the bottom left side of the map, of course. Representing Team Liquid going for a Barracks Gas, no scout. We're going to start on Old Republic, a gigantic map. Usually the Protoss favored map here, as it does take a while for Terran to get across and pressure them. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I believe the last time these two played was when herO won his first GSL in a long time, back on the Energy Recharge patch. Remember when Energy Recharge gave even more energy than it does now? And this was the one where Cure basically... He knew that herO was going to scout him with a hallucination every game, every like 30 to 40 seconds, and see exactly what he was doing. So Cure did some of the dirtiest all-ins I have ever seen. Like the number of no medevac all-ins, where it was like, he'd have like his 3 barracks, and then he'd throw like 4 more barracks here, and then just like go with Marine Marauder SCV. It was like 7 barracks, just Marine Marauder stim, no healing. Every stim is hit points you're losing forever and never getting back. It was a very fun series, which I think a few people who are maybe on the more critical, less freewheeling fun style of StarCraft fandom, they quite accurately pointed out that series probably should have been a lot more one-sided than it was, and it was kind of herO putting his foot into the, sticking his hand in the bear trap over and over again, essentially, where he'd see clear signs of an all-in and then just drop a forge or something like that. Classic herO. I always talk about how herO in this matchup is famous for basically reacting in the opposite of the way he should. A lot of Terrans find him infuriating to play against, because he will scout a clear sign of an all-in, and he will drop 2 forges, take an extra expansion, and chrono probes. And you look at that and you think, well, isn't that going to get you killed just investing in greed? And you'd say, well, yeah. The thing is, people try to play mind games, and sometimes herO is basically just playing poker, and he's like, nah, they're bluffing. You see, they know I've seen the aggressive thing, therefore they're going to pivot the moment my scout's gone into a more defensive setup, and I can get away and get ahead by just being more defensive and more greedy. And then, of course, the boy pool comes and herO just dies, and you're like, yeah, that didn't make any sense, herO, but that is herO in a nutshell. It means when the player does try to play too tricky, sometimes they kind of backflip over themselves. And it's that inability to, I would say, pressure or force herO into doing what you want, which is quite annoying. That pylon positioning should be 1 space to the left, guys. That's blocking the mineral patch. They're going to have to go around that pylon. It's not a huge amount of mining time, but it will delay the mining on that patch a little bit. A couple of Stalkers coming out with an Adept and a defensive Phoenix build. And you know what? Well, it looks like game 1 might already be in the bag for herO, guys. I know this is anti-hype, but gotta be honest. If you're doing a Phoenix build like this, hiding it, showing Stalkers, you want Cure to think you're playing 3-gate blink, 2-gate blink, and you'd like him to commit to a drop. And if you can have this 3rd Phoenix out by the time he gets there, you can pick up 3 of the Widow Mines, kill 1 of them with your Stalkers and Probes before it burrows, and kill the entire drop for free with 0 damage. And that's what you want here as herO. herO obviously doesn't know what's happening. He did get that probe scout, so he confirmed there was a starport and a reactor factory, and he's in a really good spot right now. Oh, I don't know why we couldn't hear that. There we go. Sound is on. Stalker see it coming. The Phoenix coming down. Will he be able to pick up these Widow Mines before they get in the mineral line? There's one on the right, one on the right, one on the right. Oh my god, herO does not pick up the Widow Mine in the mineral line. 5 probes going down, and it looks like Q is going to find damage, but only 5 workers. Okay, could have been much worse. Not the absolute shutdown that herO is hoping for. He does need to send in a probe to go build a 3rd Nexus right now, though, if he doesn't want to fall too far behind. Likewise, Q are trying to escape with the medevac. The Phoenix and Stalkers are going to go down here, and he's going to try and basically spread the Phoenix out and then fan them over to this bottom right, making sure there's no way that medevac can escape. You can see 1 Phoenix here. He hasn't quite checked to the corner yet, and he sees it. Kua tries to boost away, but he will get taken down. You know what's crazy, guys? This is Phoenix Colossus, a style which has been dead recently. The reason being, energy recharge gives almost no benefits to Phoenix Colossus. And with shield battery overcharge being gone, the defensive prowess of an almost purely defensive Phoenix Colossus style has fallen off. Third Nexus is there, Robo and Forge. The Robo is not very early, but I guess Stim is hugely delayed because of the reacted factory. Whenever you're building either Hellions or Widow Mines, it chews through your minerals a lot, and it becomes very hard to afford early 3 ranks bio production, medevacs, all those things that allow a Terran to get map control. Phoenix rotating around here, looking for an angle. There is a turret inside the main and the natural. Raven's going to go for some auto turret harass, but look at that. herO should be able to see that, and he could recall these Phoenix potentially, but oh, he's going to take some damage. And it would be worth recalling these Phoenix, if you ask me, to shut the Raven down. We'll see, though. He might be able to defend it just with his gateway units. He's right now a bit paranoid about Kua moving across the map, and the Phoenix here trying to count the production. Auto turret's going to get in his main. He saw the Raven for a good 20 seconds, but did not notice it. herO's super tunnel vision on the front, and he's going to lose 5 probes to the Raven. Of course, the Phoenix will recall, but Kua's going to use this opportunity to dive across the map. He says, you're distracted right now. You don't have a Colossus or anything like this, or at least he's hoping he doesn't. We know he doesn't. I don't think Kua really has all that information. The question is, does he want to fight here with Stim, Shields, and +1? They're all done in about 20 seconds. If he can catch a Phoenix or 2, that'd be big. herO's reaction is quick. Is it quick enough, though? Well, scan goes down, but only for 1 Phoenix. Not the most successful scan. There is a 3rd command center building behind this on location. I don't think Q is committed. It looks to me like Q is exerting threat. He's trying to be scary, but he's not actually committing because he knows fighting into a shield battery and Mortal Sentry could be an absolute disaster. Did see that shield battery. He's got to be careful, not to mention once the Colossus is out, it's about 15-20 seconds away with Chrono Boost. Gets a few shots in the middle of those Marines. Those will absolutely get roasted. Oh, nice tank spot. He's going to try and pick at the battery, but you got to be careful. The force fields on this corner could split these Marines. That being said, charge is not done. The Zealots are very slow. The Marines are going to come in and try and bait some force fields. He could pick them up. Ooh, good Phoenix picks. He saw the medevac going to pick up those Marines. Phoenix picked them up to block that move, but Colossus comes over. It's a little slow to get here, but does do good damage to the Marines. 1 medevac falls as well. Units lost tab is actually in favor of Protoss right now. What did he get? An Immortal, a Phoenix. Not too much direct damage. herO stabilizes on 3 base, but Kua, similar work account. He's got Vikings now building. He's got 3 medevacs on the map. As the Vikings start, I think there's a very good argument for him to lift this factory off, build a 2nd starport, and take his 5th and 6th gases. Yes! Yeah, he knows exactly what he needs to deal with Phoenix Colossus. Now, the only trick there is, can he get that fight to happen before herO transitions into, Disruptors, Storm, get Zealot counterattacks going, that sort of stuff. And how much does Kua want to commit? Is he going to go for a 1-1 timing? In the old days, we used to always commit to 1-1 timings as Terran players. Just go all in on 1-1 upgrades, try to kill the Protoss then, because it takes so long for you to get 2-2. And if you wait for 2-2, usually the Protoss has time to take 5 bases, max out, and have all of the upgrades in the world. Protoss with Chrono Boost and their natural kind of flexibility compared to the awkward Terran production with the add-ons does give them that advantage when it comes to switching this way and that. Ooh, 1 Phoenix almost going down there. Sorry, guys, just getting a bit of drink of water there, clearing the throat a little bit. It's going to be a long finals of casting, I imagine, a best of 7. How does Phoenix Colossus work? Are you just meant to lift the tanks? Colossus is supposed to win against the rest? Well, normally Terran doesn't have any tanks. The idea of Phoenix Colossus is it's very defensive. Phoenix shut down all sorts of drops. You're not meant to lose 5 probes to that first Widow Mine drop. And then you basically just hug defensively. And yeah, Phoenix can pick up anything really, but mostly the Phoenix are there to stop drops. The Phoenix stop your opponent dropping past you, and then a couple of Colossus, shield batteries, a Guardian shield, maybe 1 or 2 Immortals can defend on the ground. And in this case, where you just go, 4 to 6 Phoenix, you can also potentially harass SCVs with them, and then you just go for charge, go for a standard ground style. It's more of just an early control style. As always, as Protoss, you need either really good vision with observers and perfect unit placement, or Observer just got scanned there. No, it didn't. The Observer's down here, actually. Doesn't scan the Observer Cure. You need either Blink, Phoenix, or Perfect Vision to defend the early Terran harassment, because the way medevacs work with their dropping prowess. Q is going to come to this right side. As always, herO loves taking garbage expansions. Let's see if he can defend it. That is 14 Vikings. The question is, can the Bio Army beat the Zealot Archon? Honestly, herO is putting his army in a terrible spot right now. He's wedging himself behind his own mineral line. Awkward angle for herO. The only advantage is it does space out his units so that the Widow Mines don't hit, but that was really bad micro by herO. He jammed his units in his own mineral line. He's got to overwhelm this army. Beautiful force fields! Traps half the army in the north. The Archons cop an EMP. They've still got a bit of tankiness to them. But you can see the Vikings obliterate the Phoenix Colossus. That's always the scary point with this army, but I think nonetheless there's enough Zealot Archon Immortal on the ground. herO overwhelms, and that's what I was saying, is this is... there's this push and pull. If herO keeps committing to Colossus Phoenix non-stop, gets wrecked by the Vikings, he could just lose. But if the Terran overcommits to Vikings and doesn't quite have enough bio on the ground, and the 2-1 upgrades kicking in just in time for that fight with, look at all these Immortals and Archons, none of which died, then actually the Protoss can kind of swap to more of a pure ground style. Like, yes, the new Colossus has come out. Honestly, he might not really want too many of those. And herO's going to take the bottom right base. herO's expansion patterns, I swear, sometimes I think he's just looking at this. Like, I think he has this view, guys. Like, most of us look at the screen like this. He's just looking at it like this all the time. Like, it's just hilarious. Like, look at this freaking expansion pattern. It kind of makes sense. If you want to be attacking the bottom right, you can kind of control this area. And why would the opponent ever look for it? But as always, herO just kind of playing by feel, figuring out things that he thinks might give him an advantage or a bit of surprise in the moment. I don't think he can take that out, can he? Oh my god, the Immortals do so much damage, forcing the cancel on the Planetary and the lift. Beautiful move there. And the Bio Viking does clean up the Warp Prism in the main. Over here, it looks like, yeah, the Colossus Archon army falling back. Q is stabilized. He's up in supply right now, but with 3-2 upgrades coming in for Protoss. 2-2 now kicking in for Terran. Upgrades are staying mostly even. Blink is coming in. 12 gateways. Still, is it only one Robo? It's still only one Robo and no Storm. Which means you need to win with just gateways, Guardian Shields, and just a couple of Colossus here. EMP is coming forward. One Archon goes goodbye, but so does a whole pack of Bio there. Pylon goes down. Zealot Count is going to go hit this rally point, which is always nice. Army caught in the open, though. Cure happy to take the engagement. He spreads forward and confidently takes the fight. SCV's coming to repair the Vikings. I think that might be a bit of a mistake pulling those into this fight, but it might not matter anything to help the charge. A couple of drilly boys get on the front line and they take out that Stalker. They run towards the Immortal. The Zealots and the Natural, though, have cleaned up everything there. As is so classic in TVP, you win a fight, but you lose a whole lot of economy because all of your focus was on that micro on the front. He will take out a Nexus down here, which might be better than losing 15 workers. He's still on 60 workers. It's not like Q's economy got blitzed there. His economy is still fine. And he's got a big enough bioforce to keep moving around, but he's got to get these guys out of here now. I wouldn't mind a pickup and a boost away. You can see he's going to try and save them, but a bunch of Marauders and Ghosts get left behind. He's going to boost down, regroup with the units from the rally. And if he can deny that corner base, that would be excellent. Question, does he know about it? I think he might have seen probes rallying there or something. I mean, it seems utterly nonsensical for the Protoss to have that expansion. When you're playing against herO, you are always used to that. Also, guys, what are we missing? Concussive shells. No concussive 14 minutes into this game. Oh, no. That is such a huge... It's a cheap, quick upgrade. And he's been missing it this whole time. Planetary gets a few shots off there. Lib will come down the bottom right side. Forces a bit of a deny. The Stalkers will chase him back. Medevac going forwards. Ooh, he's going to recall, is he? Okay, herO says, if I lose this base, I'm dead. He's on 80 probes. He's got barely anywhere to mine from. Lib's going to siege up. Stalkers snag a medevac, though. That's 3-2 upgrade. Second Robo on the way for herO. Doesn't have Storm or anything like that, but as the Disruptors here, it can zone a little bit. 2-2 against 3-2. Upgrade advantage to herO. EMP advantage to Cure. But Cure's fighting closer to the Protoss base, which means the reinforcements will get here faster for him. Stalkers want that Ghost, and they do take it out before blinking back. Remember, Ghosts do have 125 hit points. This is the live version of the game. As much as we've been talking about the PTR lately. GSL, of course, and none of the big tournaments being played on it until it is live. Stalkers out at Colossus starting to push forwards. Is herO actually going to get out of this position? It's really important for herO to exert pressure, because if herO can get even 8 Marines in a mineral line, it will probably kill herO. But, you know, herO needs to apply enough pressure that he doesn't feel confident moving out with these sort of things, and normally herO is very good at doing that, and yet herO, just 8 Marines in a medevac. It's the perfect set of units to sneak across the map. Now look at this, though. herO lures his attention here. He's going to send 1 billion Zealots into the third. Oh, Zealots warping at home at the perfect timing. The Marine drop finds nothing. Brilliant play here for herO, and he makes it past the scariest stage of this game. And now it's more of a classic late game. Protoss has the map. Protoss has a bigger economy, but not massively so. It's more about having more bases. And it's can herO take a 5th? Can he take a 6th base? And can he avoid getting hit in the face by herO's balls? So far, looks like no. herO drops a few disruptors, takes out a few Marauders and Marines. That's so many guys. You got to realize. Oh yeah, he's got concussive coming in. I was going to say, it's these interactions when you catch a few Zealots on your own where it's so obvious you don't have concussive. And finally, concussive and 3/3 kicks in. herO has 2 starports, remember, but he's got, what, 9 medevac, 7 Vikings. He needs Liberators mixed in at some point, I would say. The disruptors are a bit exposed. He's going to try and fire them. herO runs forwards into them, but the Colossus are getting hammered. More disruptors come forward. A bunch of Ghosts and Marauders go down. Same time, disruptors falling, as do those Colossus. Stalkers very vulnerable to Marauders as well, and the disruptors are in the open, and that is very costly. Every disruptor left out there does get focused down. No Dark Templar just yet. The Dark Shrine's only halfway done. No Storm either. Those are usually the kind of late game tech pieces, but oh, herO! He forgot to wear his box. Disruptors get left out in the open, and now he is completely isolated. The double robo getting focused will be a checkmate. The Mass Zealot forced to engage here. It's a pretty decent angle, but you can see the way herO pulls into that choke point. Excellent engagement micro. Medevac healing looking really good as well. The Colossus actually pops out in the middle of it. Maybe he should have finished off that robo. Dude, great fight for herO though. Even though herO looks like he can almost defend, herO manages to find the engagement. And most importantly, this is the big map. It's the map which you're meant to kind of struggle against Protoss in late game. Of course, I do feel like a more defensive Protoss, a player's a bit more macro focused, like a Clemmer or Max Pax, is going to be a bit more favored on Old Republic than herO, because herO is a chaotically aggressive player. So often the aggressive maps that normally favor Terran actually favor herO, and it's the bigger maps that sometimes go against him, just due to the variance on these maps. DT is getting some really good damage here. I don't know if herO hasn't realized it or doesn't have his scan available. That DT is starting to pick off multiple Marines and Marauders. Finally get scanned and will get taken out. The Stalkers in the corner, they go down. And with them going down, the production falling, herO's going to be tapping out momentarily. Right, guys, well, guess what? herO's done with sitting back defensively. He went gas first in the last game. This game, he not only sends a probe across at the very start, he builds a pylon in the middle of the map. This is the classic. herO's going to harass you from the start, try and delay your barracks, try and obstruct and get in your face, and also proxy a gateway in the middle of the map to get over there as quickly as possible with Zealots, Stalkers, Adepts, and start smashing his opponent wherever he can. All right, barracks does start. It's not on location, has to lift to get in the wall off. That alone is going to be a bit of a delay. And you can see herO wants to stop the probe regenerating shields, but not quite able to intercept him. herO is so smooth on his probe micro. You guys will notice pretty much every time I play herO in a weekly tournament, I will try to kill this probe. I have a pretty high success rate with it, but it's because I specifically know he's going to be such a dick with it that I will pull like a third SCV to intercept it. I will waste 50 minerals of mining time specifically to make sure he has no chance to escape. And if you're willing to do that, you can take it out at a pretty high frequency. But I think most pros have had too many experiences where if herO knows you're the kind of guy who's going to try to do that, and he's on alert, he will juke and jive and dodge left, dodge right, waste so much of your time, even if you kill the probe. Probably going to mess your build up a bit too much. For me, it's about the moral victory, where I'm just like, I killed herO's probe, yes! Now he can stop annoying me, because he could annoy me way too much if he's got a worker in my base. Command Center goes up on the high ground, Marine comes out, he's going to build a reactor after that. Already some delay on that reactor, and with no SCV scout, herO could be in real trouble. Normally it's 2 Zealots and then a Stalker, I believe, out of this. Actually, in this case, it's only going to be 1 Zealot into Stalker, right? Okay. No, he's already got a Zealot out. That's why. Okay, so it is. It's 2 Zealots into Stalker. I was like, dude, what the hell? What was he doing with the gateway? Well, the other Zealot's waiting to reveal itself. Marine on the high ground. Factory does start. Probe still scouting around. He sees the reactor. He's going to have to send these Zealots in. Is he going to wait for the Stalker? So if he shows the Zealots too early, the problem is the bunker's done by the time the Stalker arrives. But if he waits too long, extra Marines are going to be out. And you kind of want to start killing this reactor. I'd say now. I'd say go now. The Stalker's almost here. You want to go, 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 go. And indeed, herO's going to do it. He's got a Nexus behind it. This is basically the old Max Packs build, in case you guys don't know. Very similar to the old Max Packs build. I think it's basically identical. Stalker's coming forward, focusing down the Marine. The Marine has to fall back. Stalker outranges it by 1. Zealot doing some very good damage on the reactor, targeting the Marines rather than the SCVs. Obviously, the SCVs are good for economic damage, but it's the Marines that do the actual damage output, and the Stalker's picking them off right now. Kewr's already lost 2 of these Marines. Oh, this is really bad for Kewr if he loses this last Marine. He's got no firepower. The SCV's trying to repair, but with 2 Stalkers and a probe attacking, the reactor's going to go down. And indeed, it does go down. There are 3 Marines. More SCVs have to get pulled. He's going to have to drill through for the surrounders. Kewr, if Kewr can trap the Stalkers and then get the Marines in the bunker, that could be good. He's got it, but oh my god, did he just lose his last Marine? He's only got 1 Marine in the bunker. The SCVs are getting absolutely hammered. The Marine also is shooting the Stalker, not the Zealot at the front. The Zealot was the one dealing all the damage there. You're now going to see the Stalker go around, start to circle, looking for more damage. Widowmine guarding the ramp means no one else can come to reinforce. But he could take out the Marine with the Stalker, which is exactly what he's going to be able to do. And he does take out that Marine, but doesn't get anything else. And the Marines will take care of it. Of course, it's a minimal investment. You've got now a 2nd gateway at home. 3rd gateway or Twilight? Which one? I think Twilight, yeah? Thinking about what to go for, and it is a Robo. Okay, so here's going to go Robo now. He's got 2 Nexi up. Transfers his probes down. Goes for the old double chrono on the probes. He says, hey man, I just killed a ton of workers. I've got you pinned on 1 base. 2 barracks and a factory. Not going to keep you particularly safe against this. Of course, herO does not want to lose the Stalkers to the Widowmine, but this just looks like a monstrous position, because now Kewr can't push out to remove the gateway. herO could take a 3rd here, quite feasibly. If you're in Kewr's shoes, you're probably thinking about win conditions. You're thinking it's herO. Sometimes he's ridiculously greedy. No starport into all-in sounds like one of the better options here. He hallucinates a Colossus for high ground vision. herO's so fun. Oh, does he see the tank? No, he does not. He's about to find out. And the sentry does go down. Nice move there for Kewr. 1 Marine for a sentry. Super, super valuable. Doesn't want to lose the depot, though, but he's going to. herO's so annoying. Gets himself a depot there. Observers are coming out. It's going to give him full vision. And he's making a Twilight and a few more gateways. Very safe play here for herO. herO's got a ton of supply free as well. And a 23 worker Terran just doesn't have many options available to him, does he? Looking pretty dead here as Kewr. I just think that's too many workers going down early. And herO finding great value with the old Max Packs build. Marines coming forward, Stalkers as well. Sorry guys, just glanced at Twitch chat. Someone's just had a bad run-in with Smurfs. Yes, it can be frustrating, my friend. What you got to remember is the people who are smurfing, the people who call you names on the ladder, these sorts of people are... I refer to them as internet creatures. Me and my real-life friends usually call them. Let's just say they don't have too much going on in their lives. You're probably beating them in most avenues of your existence. Ooh, Prism just goes... Is he going to flank this? Dude, this is a desperate all-in right now. Combat Shields is here. No stim. It's a pack of Marines, 1 Widowmine, 2 Siege Tanks. Stalkers and the Observer doing what they can. The Zealot Stalker cuts off the rally. That's always the trick with these sorts of tank all-ins. Come at them from 2 sides. Cut off the reinforcement and then get ready to sandwich. Sentries are here as well. Guardian Shield, very effective. Zealots come forward. That Immortal's going to be amazing. The battery's going to kick in a moment and start healing the Stalker as well. Stalkers and Zealots from behind. And Kewr just too far behind from the early game. Alright guys, herO in the top left side of the map for T1. Kewr in the bottom right for Team Liquid. And oh my. We double proxy maraudering. I mean, it's a best of 7 and it's Kewr, right? Kewr has used this build every best of 5 or best of 7 TVP series at least once for 4 years now? At least 3 years. I remember the first time it really heavily came on my radar was 2023 Katowice when he eliminated Neeb in Neeb's very last tournament with this build. And in fact, if he didn't catch Neeb off with this build on Ancient Cistern, Neeb would have gone out of the group stage instead of Oliveira. So it was actually this particular... Actually, this is not the same build, I think. This is a different one. But that particular double proxy Marauder is one of the many kind of stars that happened to align to let Oliveira win that world championship. If Neeb beat Cure in that third game of that series, he goes through to the playoffs instead of Oliveira. And who knows? Maru might have actually become a world champion that day. Q is, of course, on double gas behind there, so it looks like just a Reaper. He could go single Barracks Marauder and try to get a bunker here. herO scouted very slowly and has checked for proxies, but not in the position where it is. So herO, if he cancels his Nexus, I think that's maybe the dream here for Cure. And indeed, look at that. Ooh. So when you scout this, you see double gas, you're going to be thinking this is probably a proxy Reaper. And you're going to see a factory go down here in a few seconds as well. Probe comes in. SCV comes over to the ramp. Needs to bring 2. 1 to build the factory. 1 to attack the SCV. Marauder is building, as is concussive shells. Okie dokily. Is that factory looks a little late. Right? I don't know if herO will pick up on that. herO is not really a second-by-second timing guy. He's sending his Zealot across the map. He's chrono boosting Stalkers right now. He thinks there's a Reaper coming. So he's going to go Zealot counterattack. His probe is being annoying. No, he pulls the Zealot home, realizing, oh, I'm not quite sure where this Reaper's coming from. Should pull the Zealot back to try and, distract it a little bit, maybe delay it, maybe land 1 hit on it as it runs past. First Stalker's out, second Stalker on the way, second Marauder's coming. Here comes the Zealot. And that's going to cause problems for this because the Zealot's a very tanky unit. Concussive is now kicked in, though. You don't really want to use the SCV to attack this. Bunker goes down. It's only 1 SCV on this side of the map, and it will go down almost instantly, but there's no shield battery, which means the Marauders can go in. You need to pull probes to fight this. The Stalker's got to be careful about getting tagged. Stalkers are going to come out and fight this with the probes there. Perfectly timed by herO. Get some good shots on the Marauders. Probes and Stalkers can take care of Marauders. Q is trying desperately to get out of there, but he's already lost one of his Marauders. The Stalkers do A-move the bunker. Slight mistake there. These Marauders could take out a few more probes, but instead he's focusing on running away, and he does do that. But guess what? These Stalkers are faster than Marauders. Marauders, without stims, the slower unit. He's going to lose all of them for just 3 probes. One of the Stalkers does turn around to go back. This one continuing to pursue. There is a Cyclone on the way behind this, but it feels like a bit of a scuffed opening for Cure. Another Marauder comes out. Will he even get past the shields of this Stalker? Looks like only with 1 shot. Overall, a rather uninspiring push, and single proxy Marauder is one of those really cool builds where a lot of people will see Marauders panic and overreact. But in this case, herO didn't even realize what was happening and still does not take that much damage. It's kind of like a weird build Q is doing. He's trying to catch him off, but you're now starting your command center. There's already 8 probes on your opponent's natural. This might just be an unplayable situation from here. I like that that's good. That's good. At least he keeps herO in the dark for now with the Cyclone. Stargate into Extra Gateway and Twilight. I imagine it's just Oracle Blink. Could be Phoenix Charge with delayed Phoenix. herO sometimes will do that. It is? Okay, Phoenix Charge. Well, I think that makes sense. He doesn't know what's happening, and Charge is the best way to defend surprising all-ins. Catches another probe there, really effectively keeping herO in the dark. Does herO go for another hallucination? He's got energy for it. We could just fly his Phoenix across the map as another option. Engineering Bay on the way, as well as an extra barrack. Still no starport for Terran. Can he catch the hallucination? Misses it. Hallucination dodges. And finally, herO's going to get his first scouting in a while. We're on herO's camera right now, guys. This is his live camera. So he's building a pylon there. And he's going to see 3 barracks, a factory, an engineering bay, no starport, a tank and a bunker. He's got to feel pretty good about this. He's like, oh, you don't even have, like, all the add-ons ready. Like, he saw the add-ons finishing on the barracks. He sees no Massa Marines. He sees a single tank and a bunker. So there's lots of signs of, like, there's just no scariness here. What can a guy who's just finishing his add-ons do? Nothing. Maybe 2.5 minutes from now he can hit you. In the meantime, chrono your probes. He's going to make a random oracle. You might wonder, why am I calling it a random oracle? Because it's pretty friggin' random. He's going to go put stasis traps down, I think. Like, he's just single Phoenix into oracle. He's got a 4-gate charge. I'm surprised he's not building a forge. If I saw those add-on timings, I would have dropped 2 forges immediately, knowing that I've basically got a window, as long as I drop 2 chronos on each of the upgrades to get 1-1 before the push comes. And then I can basically like shut down the first push with 1-1 zealots, drop it, have a 4th nexus going down behind it, and just be so far ahead of the curve that there's nothing Cure can do. Now, when it comes to winning games, that's my favorite way to do it. PvT, oh, you can't kill me. I'm gonna like be a bit greedy on some upgrades, commit to army with those upgrades to kill your push, and then have an insurmountable economic advantage behind that. hero's way of winning when he's ahead is often basically putting his hand into the wood chipper to see what happens. He's so ahead in this game. I don't think he'll throw this position, and yet it's herO. You never know when he's going to just basically find the most well-defended choke point in the game and just A-move into it. Now, Zealot Archon's so good, I think pre-Ghost, he probably can overwhelm attacking into a choke point against this army. That does go down, gets himself a Phoenix. Oracle's in the main, though. Cyclones will take care of it. Hey, only 2 SCVs go down. Good handling by Cure. Needs to return these SCVs to mining, though. There we go. Does fix that up in the main base. So, +1 weapons is done, and Stim Shields Concussive. Cleans up with the Zealot. I mean, Q is getting really good value on the map. The problem is that his army feels a little small, and there's a Zealot flank that could hit a siege tank from behind. If you get sandwiched by Zealots, that is scary. And the hallucination, he does realize it's a fake hallucination, but those Zealots coming in from the bottom side, they're about to come in from the bottom, guys. Watch out for the Zealot sandwich. Beautiful engagement. Beautiful engagement for herO. And yet the bio, a lot of the Marines do at least slide away. Cure avoids the most devastating outcome. Unfortunately, his units are microing in the wrong direction around the terrain there, trying to come from both sides, and I think that hold is more than good enough for a 62 Pro Protoss player. I love that graphic where the Zealot slices the Marauder and you see the two halves just slide apart. That is ridiculous. One of my favorite animations there. Storm's on the way, Forge, and a 4th base. Yeah, hero's all over this, man. Well, it's kind of funny. He's got all these High Templar gathering energy. Storm's not done yet, but I guess it's not too far. Dude, Storm is like an insanely fast upgrade, isn't it? I'm always shocked by how little time there is from a Protoss starting Storm, dropping 2 chronos on it, and then it's just done, you know? Then again, I've lost many games waiting for Storm to finish, so maybe I'm being biased here. I've lost many games waiting for my Storm to kick in when I'm on the Protoss side. High Templar Zealot Stalker coming forwards. The Widowmine's going off. Ooh, good shot there on the Zealots. The Storms are zoning quite nicely. Beautiful Storms. He's got to pull back, though, a little bit. I always love that. I know from the comment sections, if you say beautiful Storm, some people in chat get very upset. Storm is never beautiful. It's a low-skill noob spell. It's impossible to cast a bad Storm. Like, some people get so angry if you say nice Storms. It's hilarious. It's one of my favorite, like, it's just for all of StarCraft 2 time. Up there with orbitals and mules are overpowered. Mules are so overpowered. Remove orbitals from the game. But GG, well played, herO. Essentially just shut that opening down too well. I think Cure was maybe looking to like get an overreaction here, get the bunker up, but the moment that SCV died, it just feels a bit too soft, the single barracks proxy. If the Zealot wasn't there, I think the way this works is if the Zealot wasn't here at the start and he catches the first Stalker, this build works out way differently. But if you don't catch one of the Stalkers early, or maybe also if herO plays Adepts instead, but because he had 2 Stalkers and a Zealot, it's kind of the perfect units for defending this Proxy Marauder. Really well played by herO. Oh, right. Game 4, herO doesn't even let the worker mine 5 minerals before he goes across the map. I love how herO is just like, he's like, I don't really care about having a perfect build. My gateway, my pylon can be 5-10 seconds late. I don't care if my Nexus is 10 seconds late. If I limit your options and like pin you in a corner and make you feel restricted, I know I'm going to be in a good spot. And he's so good at getting value out of the probe. Honestly, yeah, he loses the mining time right from the start going across it slows down your pylon, slows down everything else. But on the other hand, it's annoying as heck as his opponent. Usually you want to block the barracks from going down here. You can see the moment he comes in, the Terrans just throw the barracks elsewhere, which means it will usually have to lift off to get to the wall off later. And he's already damaged a few SCVs, which of course gives him that opportunity if an Adept or an Oracle gets in later. Often has a lot of damaged SCVs to try and pick off. Notice he doesn't go behind the mineral line because Q has been pulling extra SCVs to try and tag team him. Because anytime you damage the probe, it stops the shields regenerating. So if you can keep damaging it without giving any 7-second windows, you see 7 seconds, so 3, 2, 1, shields start regenerating. Obviously those weren't seconds I was counting, but I started counting a bit late, which is why I sped it up. But yeah. The shields regen. If you can stop the shields regenning, you can kind of limit this probe's utility in your base, which is why a lot of people will pull a second SCV, cut off the angle. But once the barracks is up, you don't really have an exposed worker out there, so it's not as big of a deal. Probe still being a nuisance. Cybercore into Nexus. It's a smaller map, so herO doesn't feel safe going for Nexus into Cybercore. He's started experimenting with that on some of the bigger maps, and I really like it. It's always been my favorite way to do the early probe. Oh, he's blocking the factory! Dude, you know what he should have done there? herO sometimes will throw a spite pylon, I call it, where you put it here just to make them build the factory off location. You cancel the pylon once the factory goes down elsewhere. It's literally, I'm going to spend 25 minerals, 100 minerals of opportunity cost just to annoy you. Like, it doesn't really do that much. It's just purely to stack little tiny bits of psychic damage on your opponent. And there is a point where, like, one of herO's alternate win conditions that most players don't have, but he's always looking for, is just he's looking to inflict insanity on his opponent. And, like, it feels like if this was like a Dungeons and Dragons style, you know, RPG style combat system inspired by that, it literally is. All these little moves herO does, they stack that psychic damage, and if he gets to like 20 stacks, his opponent just breaks. And like suddenly the series is his. And on the other hand, pretty much everyone takes psychic damage when they're playing StarCraft, when things don't go their way, when they get caught off guard, when something unlucky happens. herO, his innate trait, his like characteristic is that he's immune to psychic damage. And that's what's so incredible about him. That's why he is unflappable. Adept and Probe coming in. Factory is there. No Cyclone started just yet. There is a starport behind it. He sees the command center. And there's going to be a Hellion beginning. He's going to cancel that and build a Cyclone now with 150 minerals. There we go. All right, units lost time. One probe's gone down. Nothing else on the other side. Remember, herO did go for core before Nexus, so his economy is not as blitzing fast as it could be. But against a guy whose command center's on the high ground and he's gone factory, you know, before command center, it's still a very competitive economy as he starts to move around. And what is this? Dark Shrine. Ah, okay. Charge and then DTs. He's expecting an all-in, potentially. Or at least preparing for it. So he's going to have a sentry, a few stalkers, 2 gateways. herO always loves these, like, weird... There's no way you build a Dark Shrine here, though. You'd build it at home. You wouldn't build a Dark Shrine here. He's going to build a 3rd gateway for now. Oh, okay. So no Dark Shrine just yet. It's just so he can counterattack with Zealots. So if you do shut down an attack, you can also start warping in Zealots and immediately hit his natural. And that's often the thing. Once they realize you're on charge, often the Terran gets like a bunker, starts getting walled up, and the window to do damage with that closes very quickly. So herO's trying to expand that window as much as he can. Oh, Probe and Adept will take care of this Reaper. As long as he tracks it, which he does. Nicely done. Reaper goes down. Probe did get spotted up there. Kira, of course, comes in the main, sees battery, pulls back, doesn't know about the gateway, which got cancelled, actually. Oh, herO cancelled the gateway. And he's going to play 3-gate defensive and a Robo. Okay, and he's going to drop a 3rd Nexus instead. Cyclone picking off the Probe here. Nice, 2 Probe kills. Not bad, not bad. Q is finding damage. And most importantly, he's keeping herO's attention away from him. Remember, herO does not have any idea what's happening. He doesn't... He did see... Okay, he saw the upgrade going on the starport. He should know that this is possibly or probably Banshee. And that's probably why the Robo came down here. Oh, the Pylon's going to see that Banshee if you're not careful. Okay, barely misses the Banshee. But now the Banshee's like, screw it. Q's like, you know what I'm doing. I can just use this Banshee to pick this off. Okay, chill. Very chill. Seems like a pretty even game from here. 8 probe advantage to Protoss, but that's nothing to be too excited about. herO's... This is so funny. This is my favorite move, guys. If someone goes Phoenix, I always... If it goes Banshee, I love I almost always try to play Phoenix to shut it down. It's so expensive, and almost every pro will tell you this is super inefficient and stupid. Like, because you should just be making blink and ground units that actually fight well. Because now, where's your army? You've got unupgraded gateway units with forge upgrades, but no, like, you've got charged. What do you got? You got charged zealots with +1 attack, a few unupgraded stalkers, and now you're going to invest in Phoenix. When any sane person would say you should be making Colossus or Storm. But hero's just like, nah, I don't want these Banshees to be too annoying, man. I wanna be able to hunt them down even if they're hiding in the dead space. It also means you can shut down any libs or drops that end up hiding in the dead space later, so it can actually be very nice. If you can take out one Banshee, then the lethality's gone. Because there's a battery in the main, one Banshee cannot get through one shield battery. However, these guys might be just out of healing range, and indeed they are. That mineral patch there, great targeting for Cure, gets himself an extra probe. 2 extra probes even. But the Phoenix does deal with it. And now the Robo Bay goes down. So it's just a couple of Phoenix, bunch of gateway units with charge. Has herO spent too much money on fancy BS though? He's only on 3 gateways. If Cure pulls the boys right now, I actually think he might be able to kill him. Is Cure willing to take that gamble? Because he's built observers, like 3 observers and a forge and a Stargate and multiple Phoenix. Like, this is just a lot of things that don't do well against Stim Marines and SCVs. But no SCV pull. Cure doesn't clock that hero's isolate, that hero's weak to that. 3 Phoenix can reliably disable the tank in an attack. Well, they can pick it up a few times, but it's not really worth it. 1 siege tank's not that big a threat, especially when you're playing Zealots. So if you're playing Colossus, picking up the tank can be nice, but the Marines can also focus those Phoenix down almost instantly, so it's really not a high quality thing. Picking up Widow Mines or dragging Widow Mine shots over the bio, Kamikaze Phoenix, both much more effective. Of course, sometimes if they leave the tank out and you can get it away from the Marines, then the Phoenix pickups are amazing. Just hard to do that. Dude, look at this vision. He's got the surveillance mode observers. They have so much vision, it's actually crazy. They're really good at utilizing that. Phoenix looking for drops around the top side. Probe going down here. He's like, oh, I can't let you sneak away. That observer's going to pull away, and he's going to siege it up again a little bit further back. Or at least not siege it up, but just leave it there. Second forge is on the way. There's 1 Colossus out. Second one is now building. Big bio army, man. It's a 5 barracks all in. It's a 2-base push, guys. Does herO realize it's a 2-base push? Because it feels like this might be going the way of economy. He's building a 4th Nexus, but hero's not probing. herO seems to realize there is a very real threat in this game. His observer's going to go forward here. He sees no 3rd. His observers have gone forward. He senses it. He knows what's up. He knows what's up. No 3rd landed yet right now is crazy. And herO will not probe. He's going to chrono his upgrades. He's going to try and hang on. The observer gets scanned down. Cure is on a mass bio army. If the Marines can avoid the Colossus beams, can they overwhelm the Zealots? 37 Marines against 19 Zealots. It's a close battle, but if he can fight before +1 armor, I actually think Cure might be able to kill him. Disruptor's coming out as well. There's no real serious Viking count. Yes, there is. There's about to be 9 Vikings. Dude, this is an incredibly scary 2-base all-in. This is an incredibly scary 2-base all-in. hero's observer almost dies to splash damage. Doesn't quite die. Coming forward to meet this in the middle of the map. If you can bait stims out before the fight happens, that would be great. There come the SCVs, though. They're separated from the army. We'll see if Cure can bring these boys with the push. Wants to use those to block the Zealots. You don't want them to charge in front. You want them to kind of engage as your bio stutter steps backwards, because otherwise the Colossus will rinse them. Here we go. Big all-in for Cure. It's a 2-base push. 9.5 minutes. That Disruptor shot scares him back, clips 2 of the Marauders and takes care of them. The Colossus going down. The SCVs have mostly been cleared, but the bio army largely untouched here as the bio crushes through this 4th base. The Stalker's no longer putting up much of resistance. The Colossus roasts a lot of Marines there. It does take out quite a few. 13 kills on that Colossus. There are a few more Vikings rallying in. If herO could pick those off before the next fight happens, that would be excellent. The Disruptors are buying time. It's exactly what he needs. Disruptor takes out 2 Widow Mines there. Really good micro for herO. He's doing a great job of buying time, and it feels like Cure just doesn't quite have enough momentum. He's got to finish this game, and he's got to do it soon. He's trying to dodge the Disruptors. The tank goes down. The Colossus will fall without really getting any more hits on those Marines. And here comes the next Disruptor shot. Cua's dodge, not amazing, but only one Marauder and 2 Marines going down. That Bio Ball is heavily damaged, and the Zealots have to try and escape. He's got to try and win this by baiting stims. One more Colossus is about to come out, but remember the Robo is the most vulnerable structure in this matchup. And it gets depowered. The Colossus not quite finished. He cancels the Colossus from the queue. herO realizing that one's never going to come out, gets the refund, trying to make more Zealots. The Bio Army is so overstimmed right now, and that might be the way Kua throws this game, is stimming too much, too early, and herO's going to try and surround him. He's going to have to stim one more time. The entire army is basically suffering just massive, massive withdrawals from those stims. They are not looking healthy. They're sweating. They're vomiting. But they are clicking, or not clicking, but I guess pulling those triggers incredibly quickly. And it looks like Kua is going to be able to overwhelm that army, but still incredibly vulnerable with this position. It's just the army supply. I think at this point now, herO's income squished. Should be enough to push through. What an impressive 2-base all-in, man. It's so delayed, but he did a good job of exerting threat on the map and not really letting herO know exactly what was happening. I do think herO's biggest mistake was not counter-attacking with Zealots. I think if he sent the Zealots across, he could have intercepted the SCV pool, hit the production, and played more of a game of cat and mouse, especially with the Disruptors. herO tried to overwhelm him, and as we saw, it's the overstimming and the lack of being able to force fights that's Kua's weakness. So if you're picking off his reinforcement with a big Zealot counterattack, then looping those units in to maybe surround the army after baiting a few stims, I think it's a very different story. So I think herO here... Ooh, the army's completely in the red. Hold on. Hold on. Kua a little bit awkward on his pickup micro. Only loads up 2, not all 3 of the medevacs. Does lose that whole army. But he's still dropping mules, and he's got a reinforcing force. And what is there? Like a few sentry stalkers and zealots. These guys do need to desperately heal up. The medevacs are completely dry on juice. Stalker sentry zealot trying to micro around here. Gonna look for the force field split on this. He tries to bait him down the ramp, but Kua does not take the bait. Kua sieges the libs, and notice Kua's not stimming this time. Because he keeps thinking herO's going to run away. So this time herO stands his ground and fights. Forces Kua to stim. But I like that patience. Kua realizes that herO's just trying to bait stims a lot. And he stops being too trigger happy there. He's going to pull back now. He's got to get out of here. Tries to load up a drop to go across the map. But now he's getting dropped on by the Zealots. A bunch of Marines and Marauders do get picked off. Beautiful micro here for herO. herO's making a lot happen with very little. Kua's going to send a drop around the north. If he can get in on this mineral line... He knows that herO's economy is beyond fragile right now, and a 2-base Terran dropping mules is just so far ahead on minerals and gas. Just got to make sure he doesn't mess up the engagement. herO's making sentries because he's got a lot of gas, very little minerals. Because maybe some force fields and guardian shields can make the difference. Chat says herO needs to rebuild a Nexus. I think herO is so far down the dumps. Building a Nexus is not a great call. Not building a Nexus is not a great call. Question is, when you're in a position where it looks like you have a 0.3% win percentage chance, what's the best path? What has the most upside? Maybe it was drop a Dark Shrine. GG, well played. Kua ties up the series 2-2. All right, guys, we've got Kua in the bottom right side of the map. herO in the top left. So rare you see one of those delayed 2-base all-ins work anymore, man. But herO, yeah, it's so... his army looked pretty good, but it's hard to take down such a big ball of bio, you know? You built a 4th Nexus, you built 20 more workers, and it's just, especially the SCVs, and just there's this critical mass of Marine Marauder where the Zealots fall off. And there's just enough Vikings to deal with the Colossus. There's enough Marine Marauder to deal with the Zealots pretty well, and suddenly you're like, well, what am I fighting with? Like one Disruptor and a few Stalkers? And... That's why cutting off the reinforce and baiting stims and being very careful with when you commit to the engage is crucial, I think, for herO. I do think pivoting Disruptors is a good idea, because anything that just kind of allows you to delay and buy time and kind of keep Kua back would be nice. A bit more of a conservative scout this time, but it is with a low ground gateway, so I imagine herO goes Cybercore before Nexus and rallies in early Zealot and Adept across the map, most likely, with this build order. And there is going to be the SCV going back here. Kua did not scout. Double gas opening. Can be aggressive. Against the Cybercore first. Not necessarily so much. I wonder why he went low ground gateway. That's so odd to me. I feel like that's just not something you normally see. He's also building this pylon here as if he wants to block this ledge. But on this map, isn't there a Reaper ledge here as well, guys? Or am I imagining things? Can you not jump up on this side? I feel like you can. It's really hard to see without vision there. I'm pretty sure you can jump there. Maybe there's a gap. Maybe you can't. Maybe it is only this ledge. Reaper's going to come forward. Stalker coming out there for herO. And are we going to see a random Stargate Oracle again? I don't think so. Not with a core first. He just doesn't have the gas. Reaper comes in on the right side. Stalker says, please come in deeper so I can trap you here. Of course, Q is not born today. Born yesterday. He knows about that one. He's not going to go in there and throw his units away for no reason. Widowmine on the way. Reactor coming out next. And 2 Reapers will be moving out. No Hellion, hey. Just 2 Reapers and nothing else. Now, 2 Reapers with some grenades can probably beat the Stalker with the high ground advantage because they'll get the first few hits off, you know? So already half your shields are gone. You do have to back away, especially now that buys time for the Widowmine to secure the front. Behind this, Twilight Council starts up. Not a very fast one. This doesn't start till almost 3 minutes, about 2:51. And the probing is also not that impressive. So this is a kind of slowed down economic build-up for both players. Those just tuning in live, this is the GSL finals from earlier this week. Cool to see these two make it here as well, man. Q has just been on such a tear, and I'm just so impressed with him. Semi-finals for both of these. I mean, for both of these players, the semis were incredibly clutch and dangerous. Some reversals and almost reversals here. And indeed, it looks like, yeah, you can't jump up on that left, I guess, from what I can see there. Oh, check it out, guys. When you drag a box, it actually shows up through the fog of war a bit clearer. Look at that. I didn't even realize that. Kind of removes the shadows. It's like you're shining a torch on it. Oh, I've never done this before. Oh, yeah. Look at that. I want to see the plants a bit better. But that green filter from the box over it, it actually reveals it. Get our little night vision here, yeah. Cyclone Marine drop on the right. Marines and Widowmines coming out the left. Viking tank. Whoa, 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 whoa. Cure. What is this, mate? He looks like he's getting highly aggressive. Now, hero's played a very safe 2-basey build so far. He's building a 3rd gate and a robo. How does he know what's happening? He doesn't. He's just playing really safe. 3-gate blink robo. This is about as conservative as you get. Cyclone Marine coming in. 3-gate robo with a safety shield battery as well. Holy moly. Oh, Q doesn't take any damage. I wonder if he does the tank push from this side. Surely not. I think he just tries to get control of the choke point and bully from there. The tank's coming forward, as is the Viking. He'll be landing the Vikings and using them kind of like marauders. He's trying to set up an ambush. He's hoping herO stumbles into him. herO is playing so blind, and he starts a 3rd Nexus. Uh-oh. herO might be in trouble, guys. He's building a warp prism. He's making a 3rd Nexus. He's not warping in units constantly. He does have 7 Stalkers, though, which is a good count. And there we go, 2 more. So he's actually warping in pretty consistently. And finally, herO's first scouting in several minutes. He sees an army waiting outside of his base. Q does not know he's being spotted. And he's going to move forward anyway, but now, look at this. herO intercepts. Oh! If he catches the medevac, that would be game-changing. But he doesn't. The medevac spots it. A nice pickup on the siege tank to avoid any extra damage. herO right now pushing incredibly hard through the middle of this map. These Stalkers are still behind there. Remember, he made the mistake of not intercepting the reinforce in that last game. He's not going to make that mistake again. The Reaper medevac Marine tank rotating left, looking to get this 3rd base. 4 Stalkers behind, though. herO's micro on 2 sides has to be exceptional. These 2 siege tanks are everything. One of the tanks does take damage there. He doesn't want to siege at the moment he sieges. That's when it's a sitting duck. You cannot pick up a siege tank, and that costs him. But look at that blink. Dodges the Widowmine on this side. 2 Stalkers go down on the right. But the tank is not in the danger area yet. He's got to get rid of the barrier on that Immortal. The barrier is gone. The Stalkers blink forward. The tank goes down. And that's going to be an excellent hold here for herO using the blink mobility advantage. And you know what? These Marines can't do anything. Not once the blink is there. These Stalkers will pick every single unit off. And the tail end of that trade is always what's so devastating for the Terran player. 500 resource lost advantage to Protoss. 3rd base is up and mining. And of course, Terran has not started Stim. This looks like Game 5 is massively favored for herO. He played blind, but he also played very safe, constantly warping in Stalkers, building safety shield batteries, gets the Immortal the moment he realizes what's happening. I think just overall very good play by him. He cancelled his Warp Prism, didn't he? Yeah, I think when the Observer saw the army, he cancelled the Prism and started that Immortal. And look at this, Kua thinks he's covered his base. No, you haven't. Stalkers can blink up on that right side. And he's going to pick off Stim. Oh, that's huge. He's going to take out Stim. Could kill a bunch of the SCVs as well. Look at that. Getting a few SCVs and that. The Viking's an easy target also. Should probably get back to the ledge to get out unless you're planning to just use Recall here. Which it looks like he is planning to use Recall. It's not quite clumped enough right now. He's going to try and grab a tank. Well, I don't know why herO stayed quite so long. Could have grabbed the SCVs and saved every single Stalker really easily, but herO and getting overly aggressive, name a more iconic duo. Charges on the way, +1 as well. Robo Bay also, you've got 3 bases up. It's still a massive success for the Protoss, even if he does trade 5 Stalkers for it. When you're this far ahead, trades like that are very good. It just takes the steam out of Kua. Not that he had much steam to begin with. 5 barracks, sorry, I should say, into 3rd command center, but 2 barracks delayed all in is not going to hit like it did in the last game, is it? So he's had to build the 3rd command center. He's only got a sprinkling of bio. Look, he's got 5 barracks. He can't afford to build Marine Marauder right now, guys. He's building a turret right now, trying to queue up some Marines. He might just get A-moved. With the drop coming into the main base, I mean, he very well could be getting A-moved here. Combat Shields is going to get taken out on that one. Luckily for Kua, it's not the Stim that gets targeted. It's still very painful. Zealots run in the front as well. He actually could overwhelm this army with this force. Zealot warping in the back. Manages to complete before the Vikings can get on top of it. Brilliant. Warp Prism harassment. And these tanks are just way too exposed. That's an easy A move there. You can see tanks don't do much damage to Zealots. And the Immortals will finish these tanks off very quickly. Siege tanks going down. Drops pick up to the high ground. The Marines in the main trying to defend. Stim is about to finally finish. But of course, herO is on 4 base, 66 workers, and he's got this one in the bag. He does need 4 games to win the series, though. But defending that push so successfully, and it felt like Kua's push it really relied on herO stumbling forward, losing a few Stalkers, and then you spring into action, and herO just did not go into that ambush at all. Despite having no scouting, he just did not check out front of his base, and I think Kua's got to be frustrated thinking, come on, man, you always are meant to be out front your base with Stalkers. I was meant to get 2 or 3 Stalker kills before the fight even started, and it just never happened. And he had to pull the trigger. He said, well, I'm pulling it late, but better than never. Turns out maybe he would have been better off turning around and going home with how that fight went for herO. I remember this game. herO Marine was watching this game on his stream. He said even he could win this game from this position as the Protoss. Yes. Yeah, it's pretty tough for Kua, man. He's got +1 armor on the way, but there's already 2-1 and a Dark Shrine. And he's going to 11 gateways. I mean, the hero's so rich, man. He's going to get the rich gas up as well. He probably should be building some gateways down in the corners of the map, just as forward warp-in points, but you're completely stuck turtling as Kua. I think if I was in Kua's shoes, I would not stop building tanks, and I would aim to build all the rest of my barracks, upgrade structures, everything, basically walling off like here and here, so I can kind of position my tanks in the middle a little bit, or maybe like here and here, and try to create a little wedge of siege tanks, and try to always have at least like 1 Viking on each side for the Warp Prism. And then basically just set up like an impregnable 3-base position. And then I would try to float a 4th out and like walk down there with tanks covering it. Probably on the right side, actually, I think, rather than the left. This left base is too open. But the whole point is I'm worried about the Zealots getting on top of the tanks. They get on top of the tanks, everything else will fall apart. The tank's the only thing that really outranges the Colossus right now. The Viking goes down. Speed Prism immediately says, you know what? Where there's an opening, where there's a will, there's a way. And oh my, losing that Viking is a tragedy. The main army catches the Viking that's meant to defend against exactly this maneuver. Tanks are firing on those zealots on the front. He's going to try and do a warp in there as well. The bio might actually welcome that maneuver, but of course, here comes the attack on the front. The Stalkers blink forward. 2 libs go down instantly as Siege Tank gets sniped as well. He has to pull back with the main army. And of course, at home, that prison will finally be going down to the Liberator as long as Kua sends it back. Kua! I get you taking damage, mate. I get you're in a hard spot, but do not let him warp in again. You know herO cannot resist. You know he's going to do it. I mean, okay, 1 Marine will finally finish him off. Back on the front, herO poking forward one more time. Can he clear the tanks and the libs? Those are the artillery that's holding this position, and does throw a lot of Stalkers into that meat grinder. Remember, never underestimate herO's willingness to cram his units into a choke point into very intense Siege Tank Liberator splash damage. As long as you keep pumping tanks and libs and you just try to survive here, there is always a chance, but no turret on this right side also kind of hurts. I feel like having a turret on each side will make it a little bit easier long term. You need to have turrets available at all moments. Otherwise, DTs could get in also. How is Protoss going to win this? Well, I mean, it's herO, so it shouldn't really be difficult, but he might screw around and throw a few armies away on his path to winning. I mean, if Kua comes back from this, like, this is a position where even Maru would be really struggling to come back, but I'd say, oh, it's Maru, you gotta hurry. Is Kua able to channel his inner Maru? I really feel a few buildings here and over here, and then you can get some tanks a bit further forward. And that's where it's really, really tough for herO to get through. Of course, he scans. I think he's worried about Sky Toss. He's worried about Tempest. Because if Tempest come out, he's just checkmate. Like, if your opponent's turtling like this and building siege tanks, as Protoss, the two best siege units are Disruptors and Tempests in terms of their effective range. Tempest can just pick at everything from afar, force him to build a lot of Vikings, force him to, like, stim out to try and hit the Tempests, which means he's fighting away from his tanks, so Colossus will roast him. But herO's trying to kind of just go for a YOLO blink DTs in the natural, which actually I'd love him to move an Observer forward. Blink up this cliff would be amazing. That would be so good. And then his main army can hit the right. Q is very wise to very slowly expand forwards. You know, taking a 4th too early could get you killed. But like I said, you don't protect these tanks and Zealots get on them, they die. So you either need to wall off this side or always leave a lot of Marines and Marauders nearby guarding them. Observer goes down. Hero's going to take all the bases. +3 armor, +1 plasma shields. He's going to make Observer speed as well. Ooh, good shots from the tanks. Hero's going to go for a Zealot drop into the natural. herO has some of the best and worst ways of breaking defensive positions. I'm always shocked by how much time he wastes in these scenarios, just massing Zealots. But every time I doubt him, historically, he then wins the game within 30 seconds. So I feel like I should just basically say something really disparaging about how he's just sitting here doing nothing right now, while his massive advantage slowly slips away. But here we go! Colossus comes forward. Great positioning. Biotank Lib shuts that down. 4,000 resources. Oh, 3,500 in units lost, but the DTs blink in. They do get EMP'd, as you can see. So they are revealed for, I think, like 5-10 seconds after getting EMP'd. Has to scan, cleans those ones up. DT's in the main, though, doing good damage. Anytime you stretch out Kua's multitaskings like this, it's really going to be quite nice. Kua can't afford even trades. He needs good trades. Command Center is going to get clicked on. Beautiful move. He knows the Command Center is the most vulnerable part, and Kua needed to be in front of that base. herO, yes, he throws away a lot of units, but that Command Center is so hard for Kua to replace. Just punishes him being ever so slightly out of position. 2 more Warp Prisms, 16 more Zealots are on the way. Disruptors technically can outrange siege tanks, but on this map it's nearly impossible because the tanks are kind of guarded by the terrain. You need to be shooting at it in a straight line for that to work. Stalkers come forward, multiple libs getting focused down, and the bio is just a bit too far back, not guarding his units. You need to have your Marine Marauder a little bit further forward so that you can kite backwards and still gun down a lot of the Stalkers when they blink forward. Very nice play there by herO. No lib range just yet, of course, and 3-2-1 upgrades for Protoss. Soon to be 3-3-1 against just the 2-2 of Terran. He's going to try and float a 5th out. That's a... Ooh, he's going to take that side. This side's not guarded. I think Q is just leaving too many openings. I think yeah, this right side is now wide open. Hold on, hero's going to get jumped on. Oh, here we go. Okay, I was going to say, I said hero's going to get jumped on. I meant Q is going to get jumped on. Hero's looking for that engagement. Remember, he has mass gateway reproduction capabilities. He very easily reproduce, but look at this double prism drop going in. He's going to drop Zealots on that base, Zealots and DTs into the main base as well. And this is so hard for Q to deal with. He's not shut down the potential for these future prisms. He's got to send a huge army of bio, and if this command center goes down, that would be huge. Oh no, Q are too slow to react. Another command center snipe. Yeah, this is exactly what you want to do as herO. You got to snipe these command centers whenever you can. Q runs away from the main back to the front, but look, there's DTs in the natural, more DTs warping in the main. And Q is just getting played with. I don't think he has the multitasking to keep up with herO in this sort of game where you really have no room for mistakes. You need to have such perfect play. And Q, of course, is struggling because he's so paranoid about losing the main army fight where he needs a lot of attention. He can't do that and deal with the main base at the same time. herO gets so many valuable pickoffs. The DTs are picking off his starport in the main. Finally, the prisms go down there, but of course, he can just replace those. Starport is burning right now. He's going to try and repair it up, but he's down to just 21 workers. And herO, I think, is just so confident in his ability to outpace and outposition Q. He really was like, please engage in one area at once so I can micro this perfectly. And herO wisely just distracted with the main army, got prisms in, and then whenever Q would split his army to deal with the prisms, that's when herO would jump back in on the front. Colossus army pulling back. 69 workers have died this game for Terran. 0 probes have gone down. Of course, a lot of Zealots have died. 119. 42 Stalkers. 5 Warp Prisms is quite a funny number. And of course, he's building 2 more. It's a bad day to be an SCV, says Twitch chat. You're not wrong, guys. You're not wrong. Is that 5 Colossus? Oh my lord, and he's got nothing to deal with it. He's only got 1 tank, 1 Viking. These 5 Colossus, the GG, he can A-move this army now. I mean, obviously the supply count is already massive. hero's slightly ahead in army supply, massively ahead in workers. If he just fights right now, there is no answer to the Colossus. And their damage will stack. 9 range, splash damage, really good against the clumped bio. The Colossus trying to find the angle. Got to be careful of the libs though. Ooh, takes a big tank shot as well. Another big tank shot. One of these Colossus is going down. The lib's going to siege a little further forward. herO being maybe a little pedantic. 2 prisms get in the main. This time, finally, Cure taking a leaf out of Clem's book. Does have a pack of Marines waiting for it. Of course, Clem is famous for always leaving 8 Marines in a medevac in his main base, waiting for Max Packs Warp Prisms. At this point, he's not rebuilding workers, guys, and it's a good call. Q knows the only path to victory in this game is going to be one amazing engagement into shove onto the production and win the game. He just needs to keep maxing out, get a hyper massive army, rely on the fact that herO has way too many workers, no Psystorm, no disruptors. If you can get enough Vikings or something like that to kill the Colossus, and the problem is right now he has very few Vikings, but if you could EMP this army, blitz the Colossus down, and then have a way bigger army supply bio army will chew through the gateway units so easily once the Colossus are gone, and then you just have to push onto his production. There is actually a very real win condition here for herO. herO cannot let that happen. herO needs to fight on this side of the map. He's got 23 gateways so he can reproduce very quickly. If he goes for a few more Robos or a Templar Archives, Storm or Disruptors would be very good for stopping a counterattack. herO, even though he's very rich, is not really focused on that. He's focusing on how he can kill Q. Might not be thinking about the fact that Q actually has a gigantic army. Stalkers blink forward. They do take out 2 libs. A lot of Stalkers go down, and there's not a lot of gas in the bank. But here we go. Bio's going to try and press. The Colossus stutter step is pretty nice so far. Getting good damage on this Bio army. The Marines up front getting roasted, man. The Colossus will all go down. Finally, the Marines rotate to the back of that army, but I think this was efficient enough for herO. I mean, look how big his reinforce is. The Colossus only now, finally, are about to fall. And Q, he may have double the army supply, but let's see you keep that up against 23 gateway double robo production. The lack of gas is worrying for herO. The fact that with so much map control, he didn't fix his gas count after having complete map dominance for 15 minutes just shows that herO's macro can be a little sloppy. On the other hand, if you have 23 gates, you can make unlimited zealots here, and unlimited zealots will eventually clean this army up with a few Colossus and Stalkers mixed in. So even with only this little bit of gas trickle that he's got coming in, it should be enough, especially if he just gives up a base and counterattacks. Doesn't even have to lose the base. He's just going to counterattack and say, hey, good luck dealing with this. What are you going to stim home? Stim forward at the same time? Well, that base does go down. Orbital on the right side is going to get hammered. Zealot Stalker tries to push in. Zealot Stalker goes into the main base, trying to make this as messy as possible as herO. He realizes messy trades on the Terran side of the map are where it's at. If he can force you to fight on this side of the map, he's fine with it. Look at that. The Stalkers are going to recall because they're the very valuable gas-heavy units. These Zealots are still trading for Marauders and Marines in the main base. These guys come forward, pick off even more. It's 5 workers. And Cure, he might have a similar army supply, but he can't even leave his corner of the map. And herO very correctly realizes as long as he trades on Cure's side of the map, not near his own production, he'll have plenty of time to remax. And he does just that. herO gets ahead 3-2 after shutting down an early tank push. All right, guys, herO in the bottom left side of the map. Cure in the top right. Cure's journey could be over here. Is herO going to deny him yet another GSL trophy? Not quite sure. I believe Cure did win a GSL. And I'm trying to remember, guys, was it 2022? Which year? Anyone in the comments, let me know. Which year did Cure win his GSL trophy finally? And who did he play in the finals? I actually cannot remember it. Oh, it's in my... I feel like it was like against like a Zest or someone. Did he beat Zest in the finals? So I'm pretty sure Cure won a GSL one time, didn't he? I know he lost to herO. Was that... I don't think that was his first finals, was it? Oh, is he not won one? Oh, I don't know why. I thought he had. Maybe he just like knocked Maru out of a season previously, and I was like, he's done it. He beat Maru. Twitch chat's only bothered to Google AI. They're not willing to bring up the Wikipedia results page. Best way to check someone's results like that is if you go to Wikipedia, there's a results tab. If anyone wants to look that up, let me know. I don't trust the AI either. Ooh, okay. Oh, I love this progress, man. He's so annoying. Your barracks is in the wrong spot. Lol, 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 lol. Cybercore first, so he's going to block the Reaper ledge there, guys, with the Cybercore. Nexus goes down after it. A few more gateway units does delay your tech a little bit, but of course, it allows you to not be pushed off the map as easily by this double gas opening, so. He did win one, and it was against Zest, says Rorak. Yes, my memory is there. Nice. What year was that? Do you know, Rorak? Or are you just repeating what I said? 2021. Okay, cool. Hey, my memory was on point. Very nice. Big event for him. Zest was always quite funny as well in PvT, because Zest is so good. Zest is like kind of very relatable as a pro gamer in that he'd have these amazing... He'd play like the cleanest 8 minutes you've ever seen. And then he'd just like stare at 3 units while floating 2,500 minerals. And he'd do it pretty much every game. Where you'd be like, damn, dude, you're one of the best players in the world. But like, he'd just have these moments where it's like he'd just kind of fall asleep at the helm for like 30, 40 seconds. And then he'd correct it and he'd still go win the game a lot of the time. But there was just these moments where... And I think it's because he was never a good adaptive player. Like, Zest was never really a good adaptive player. He was always a guy who just had the best builds. And that's what's cool about StarCraft, is you don't have to be a herO who can adapt to any situation on the fly. You could be a guy who just comes up with and memorizes the best builds and sets the meta the way Zest did and still become a champion many times. Steps coming forward there. It does take good damage on both sides. I mean, you lose damage. Obviously, the Terran can repair, but that already takes the teeth out of this pressure. herO's able to maintain map control against the double gas opening. Even though his Adept has to pay some hit points for it, I think that's totally worth it. He goes for Blink behind it. He's making another Adept. 3 Adepts and a Stalker. And then starts the second gateway. Interesting. Okay. Pretty big commit there. Pylon here. He's also got a pylon blocking the Reaper ledge on the side. Does not like those Reapers being able to sneak in his base, does he? think I might have entered my tastosis arc of commentary, guys. I'm talking about Zest rather than the two guys who are in potentially the final game of the GSL Grand Finals. I'm just like, you guys remember that Zest guy? He was cool. What Nintendo games you guys been playing lately? I love Super Mario. All right, Depth's coming forward. The Marine's going to go down. Oh, dude, he doesn't really have anything to stabilize against this. These Depths can just fight. Oh my gosh, the drop is on the wrong side of the map. The Widowmine's just left. The random delayed 3 Adept pressure that I was like, who builds a 3rd Adept this late? herO says, hold my beer, pig. I build a random 3rd Adept this late, and this is why. And the SCVs that were damaged by the probe in the early game, it always comes in later on, doesn't it? This is just such a classic herO thing. The SCVs that he damaged earlier with the probe harass now start getting caught there. Uh-oh, Depth's going to shade down to the natural. He's trying to get out of there. Widowmine dropping the main. Only 2 probes. herO shuts down the Widowmine drop with only 2 probe losses. And he gets 4 SCVs. Mining time on the other side. Oh, man. What a stellar start there for the Protoss. Second barracks is only just started. Cure in disarray at home. And herO, he's got an observer out. He's got Blink Stalkers for map control. He's going to take a 3rd base soon. Oh, what a great spot to be in for the Protoss player. You might think, oh, he's supply block. Doesn't really matter. You probably want to build a 3rd Nexus next anyway, before you even build any probes. So it's not bad at all. We have Mario emotes popping onto the screen. Very nice. I didn't even know you could do that. Speaking of Mario. Ooh, no shield battery. Do we have weapons available? We do. Reapers should be able to grab 2 probes, maybe 3 if they're lucky. Oh, the probe hides in the gas. The only 1 probe for 2 Reapers. Not what Q is looking for, man. And these Stalkers, dude, if they can kill that tank, that's a real problem. They can absolutely YOLO that tank. Oh, no. herO, he sees it. He sees it opening. And he's going to take out the tank. He's only going to lose 1 Stalker for it. And now what have you got to defend? Sorry, guys, accidentally muting the sound there. Second tank's rallying out. The first tank had to rotate here from the natural into position. The Marines and SCVs trying to defend. He's going to blink forward. herO says, go hard or go home. And he goes on top, takes out all of the tanks. You are kidding me. He's killed all 3 siege tanks. Now he's on the natural, picking off the Marines and the SCVs. 10 SCVs have gone down. herO, the absolute mad lad. He has taken 5 probe losses, 6 from auto turrets on the other side. It's not for free. He is losing Stalkers and probes behind it, but 18 worker kills. He blinks forward. Was that a misclick, or is he trying to just insult Cure? Who the hell blinks their red hit point Stalkers forwards there? And look at this, he doesn't even leave the Stalkers to defend. He warped in Stalkers to defend the auto turret, and he immediately F2'd them to the front. Is that not the most hilarious thing? He warped in 3 Stalkers back here, didn't even clean up the auto turret, just waited for it to expire while F2'ing them to the front. herO going full chaos mode. It's not about playing perfect, it's about taking the opportunity when you see that win con. And those 3 Adepts already open Cure up, doing so much damage and distraction, and the Stalkers just dive. And herO, it's almost like Cure goes out with a whimper rather than a bang. And is this just not the way it always is? When you see herO get in his element, Cure starts off the series with some really nice, clean games that are very competitive. But then herO just finds these unique little windows where, what was that, like 4 minutes? When did those 3 Adepts arrive, guys? And if you skipped your bunker, you've skipped your bunker. Naughty, naughty. How dare you try and do a more efficient build? How dare your Reapers and your Widowmines and your Hellion be out on the map creating map control? You don't have a Cyclone, you don't have a tank, your Widowmines have left, no bunker? Absolute disaster. Because remember, it wasn't just the 4 SCVs, guys. He killed like 6 Marines here. 6 Marines, 4 SCVs, and the entire mineral line having an AFK in the main base. You have to cut corners at pro level. You can't just be building bunkers for safety every game. Even if you built a bunker, the Adepts could have shaded past. They still would have done a good amount of damage. Unless the Reapers were there as well. If the Reapers were there as well, but Cure didn't see the Adepts move out. And it's just, this is the power of doing the things that herO does. That are kind of invisible when they don't pay off. And you're just like, well, this is a random time to build 3 Adepts, but there are always these extra little windows of interaction where herO finds damage. And now he holds up yet another GSL trophy
4-2. A very good win rate against Kua here in these grand finals. It's no doubt. I wonder if he would have been able to take down Maru. If Kua didn't take down Maru, would he have been able to take down Maru? Honestly, I think it would have been pretty close either way. But hats off to herO. Fantastic game. And GG, well played.